So my boyfriend turned red pill, and at this point we haven't spoke for about a month, and I can't cope with the fact that someone who I saw is so compassionate and thoughtful and intelligent, so caring and open-minded, just completely did a 180. It came to a point where I started noticing differences in them. Like, I started noticing that they would talk to me like I was like their child, like something that they had to have control over. And then it evolved into hypothetical arguments all the time, like just about the stupidest stuff, about like child support and what makes a woman valuable and like what women want in a man, all that. I'm like, I don't know why you're talking to me about this. Just kept progressing, and no matter how much I tried to improve.
Just gonna say I don't believe her. I don't believe that he just watched a couple red pill podcasts and he just started talking to her like a child. I think generally, whilst I disagree with the red pill mostly, I think when people are watching that stuff and it's starting to resonate with them, there was already a problem. They were already maybe not being heard, not being seen, not being understood, not being listened to. And then you got someone like Myron or Fresh in your ear going, oh, fuck them bitches. They don't listen. Get her to obey you. Because the red pill content is not going to work on a guy that's happy and content with his woman. It's not going to work on a guy that has had good relations with a woman or feels hurt. It works on people that feel disenfranchised, that feel lost. The red pill gives them a space and a voice. So I don't believe that he was in a happy, loving relationship and then he did that. I'm not saying it's right that you say to your girlfriend that start to obey me, but the way she's acting, oh, it came out of nowhere. I bet you any money she's insufferable. Can bet you any money she's insufferable. I don't know the girl, but that shit doesn't happen. All of my friends that have been exposed to red pill content are in relationships have not changed towards their girls. But the guys that are not in relationships or have had bad relations with women, whether it's their fault or not, and I'm not saying it's all the women's fault before anyone starts talking shit. I'm saying that that's the feeling, that's the general sentiment around it. So where she's saying, oh, this came out of nowhere, that's got to be BS. I don't believe her.
Prove myself and just give him what he was asking for. I felt like it just wasn't enough. I still don't understand what he was asking for, because these types of women that red pill podcast men talk shit about, like, I don't have a lot in common with. Like, I don't go out, I don't party, I don't dress really showy, I'm not a gold digger. Like, all I wanted was to just be loved by somebody. I felt like I was being torn apart. Like, I did this, but it wasn't enough. I don't know what to do. It just wasn't going to work for them because I was too American and I didn't understand, and the women overseas are better. And it just really broke my heart. It broke my heart so bad. And it got to the point where my family witnessed it firsthand, like what they were doing, and that's when it ended. And I can't find closure because I'm like, what happened?
She means to tell me that she was in a loving relationship. This guy watched a couple red pill podcasts and suddenly he wasn't in love with her. This sounds like BS. Did you believe her?
An element of it, yeah.
Why? Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
You experienced it?
I haven't experienced it per se. I've definitely come across men who have acted in a very red pill way. And for that reason, I've not stuck around long enough to see the end result.
But that's not what's happening here.
I understand that. I'm just trying to answer your question.
With regards to a relationship.
I mean, I agree with you. I think there must have been some sort of underlying issue prior, or maybe he's got his own personal issues and it's only now coming out, or that's helped bring it out. I don't think that she would probably be to blame, or that she was not that great as a partner, which is why he started behaving in such a way. I mean, she did say, he said something, well, she said they said something about it being this person saying you're just American, the women overseas are better. So it seems like there would have been a difference of maybe culture there or something that could potentially get in the way. It definitely probably been a build up of something that's made this happen. Do I think it probably would have been the worst relationship? No, I do think there probably could have been an element of love there and just a normal relationship. You know, she said she doesn't go out much, she doesn't really dress revealing, things like that. I suppose there'd be no need for her to lie if she's posting that online. If people know her, they could see what she posts and stuff.
Someone lying on TikTok.
For example, if I was to say, I would never wear a low-cut top and post it on TikTok, people could easily go onto my Instagram and say, clearly you're lying. See what I'm saying? You can get caught out with things like that.
But people lie all the time and get caught and they continue doing it.
I mean, an element of it looks genuine to me. I do agree with what you're saying, but I don't believe that she's chatting complete rubbish.
My problem with this is that I've consumed a lot of red pill content, and I have a lot of friends that have consumed a lot of red pill content, and my views on women have not changed, post or pre red pill content. Right? I've had my own views on women and the dynamics with men and women, and I wasn't altered by a red pill. Now there are things that they say in the red pill that are just true, that most people would agree with, and there's a lot of things there that is just a lot of hogwash. Right? We've always said that they're decent at identifying the problem, but the solution is always a hot mess. And we live in a time now where if you, like, for example, when we did that surname video, there was a lot of comments saying, Mike consumed too much red pill content, but a woman taking...
I think there was only one comment that said that. Don't exaggerate.
No, it wasn't just in the comment section. No, we get comments other places.
You got loads of messages about you being red pill because of that video.
Maybe you should stay active on Instagram.
Is it on the Instagram you got that?
Instagram, WhatsApp, YouTube, Discord.
WhatsApp? Did you set up the WhatsApp thing?
No, I haven't, but I will.
What, your friends?
Yeah, people watching it. Other girls watching it.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, so I had people saying, I think you've consumed too much red pill content, which a woman taking a man's surname is not a red pill thing. Anyone that understands anything about our culture over here would understand that's not a red pill talking point. That's just how it's always been. It's
not a red pill thing, but most red pill men are quite old school traditional men, which is why they say and behave the way they do, because new age women are trying to get treated like men before, but don't want to be the old age women, basically.
They want tradition without tradition.
Yeah, so that's why it does kind of make sense.
But it's not a red pill thing. It might have been something that they adopted because it makes sense to them, but it's a tradition in English culture, right? So I think a lot of people get confused at what actual red pill content is, what has actually come from the red pill, because there's things that, there's also the blue pill, like the normies or whatever. I wouldn't say, I'm blue pill. There's just things that I believe
make sense on both sides.
Yeah, they make sense on both sides. So it doesn't necessarily mean that I've been consuming too much red pill content. I think people, you can use Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson for an example, right? Two completely different people, but a lot of people that don't consume red pill content think they're in the same boat. But if you hear Jordan Peterson's opinions on Andrew Tate, he does say, there's things that you can merit about Andrew Tate. And he's obviously a byproduct of our society because of where we've gone and how we've been treating men as of late. But he also says that he thinks that the whole pimp thing, and if that's your personality, is reprehensible and you're not a good human being. But a lot of people that don't bother to watch red pill content assume that Jordan Peterson, Fresh and Fit, Andrew Tate, the whatever podcast, that they're all in the same boat. And I would actually separate all of them. Andrew Tate does not have a lot of the same views as the Fresh and Fit podcast. Fresh and Fit, Andrew Tate and Fresh and Fit don't have a lot of views that Jordan Peterson does, and the whatever podcast seems a little bit more tame. But with regards to this video, what she's saying with red pill, I don't believe that somebody that is in a loving relationship would be indoctrinated into the red pill.
I get it, but I think personally it's more, I don't think it would be so much to do with the relationship. I think it would be more to do with an individual personally, how they feel about themselves, their own mental state. Personally do think that the red pill videos and speakers can have some sort of influence over people.
Oh, of course. That any the same way that like feminists can influence people,
Mm-hmm.
red pill commentators can influence people. People that worship God and read the Bible, Muslims, like everyone has influence over others. But what I'm saying is that, like for example, if you had a Muslim and a Christian in a room, a devout Muslim can listen to the Christian, but there's nothing the Christian says that is going to make him move away from his religion. But a Muslim that is not all the way into his religion, he's kind of like wishy-washy. The Christian can get through to him because there's a problem there. What I'm saying with this is that she's saying, oh, it came out of the blue, I don't understand what happened. There was definitely a problem in the relationship for him to just start repeating things that he heard on podcasts like obey me, foreign women are better. She would have played a part in that.
I think that religion is slightly different.
Why?
Because religion is more of, it's hard to
system,
explain,
right?
it's a belief, yeah, and I understand that this is similar on some sort of element, but it's a bit different. Like in a lot of different scenarios, not just with relationships and dating, you can be swayed into a lot of stuff from videos based on your personal mood at the time. Like for example, I could have a moment where I'm feeling really low and insecure, and then I'll watch a video and then it motivates me and boosts me up, like not to make silly decisions.
But that's the whole point. There's the reason that you're feeling low about a particular thing is because there's a crack there.
It's a personal mindset and issue. It's not to do with, I don't know,
The
actually, maybe it
relationship-
could be to do with other people
Yeah.
as well, how other people make me feel.
Yeah,
I get
the
it.
relationship would be involved in that. Like if you were in a loving relationship and some feminists started saying, oh, fuck these guys, blah, blah, you're not going to come home and go, fuck you, bro.
Yeah.
You're just not going to do that.
Imagine your girlfriend said that
Yeah,
to you.
I'd look at her side as well. Who you been talking to? You've been watching the fucking View or something. But that's not going to happen. But a girl that is
Yeah.
unhappy in a relationship where the guy's probably might have mistreated her, he might have done some stuff and been dismissive, and then she starts listening to female commentators who don't like men, she's going to start connecting the dots. Someone that's happy in their relationship is not going to turn to red pill content. There might be things about the red pill they agree with, but you're not just going to turn around to your girlfriend that you've been with, that you know their family. I don't like American women. Foreign women are better.
Yes, but I also think what you are being exposed to online can impact that, because it's the whole concept of, for example, you could have a great woman in front of you, but then being exposed to 10 other beautiful women who are also great, it kind of confuse your mind, like, oh, which one do I want? So he could be in a fine relationship, just normal, but then he's being exposed to all this stuff online. Now he's like, maybe it's not so great actually. Maybe she's not doing this. Maybe I should be obeyed. Like it could be swaying his mindset. It's different to each personal individual.
I agree with you, but I think the only reason that sway happens is because there's a small crack there. Right? I think a girl, for example, let's use a girl example. Let's say you're with a guy. That doesn't mean attractive men stop existing. That doesn't mean that there aren't other men that you would like, otherwise you might think of them as like someone that you would bed. But does that mean you're going to do it? No, because you have a respect for your man. Now, if your man was overstepping boundaries, you weren't really getting what you wanted from him, the idea of entertaining another man will suddenly start to become more appealing. You see what I mean? So then the influence really starts to work then.
I get it.
I don't think you can influence somebody that is sure of their position. I think influence works when there's a little, even if it's a percentage of doubt there, I think that's when the voices start to work and the gear start to turn.
I think that's what my issue is, though, is because no relationship is easy.
True.
And there's always going to be issues that arise, and it's about working with somebody and not just giving up the minute things get a bit rocky or the grass is not always greener on the other side. So for me, it is just putting that notion out there of there's always better out there, but sometimes what you've got is good.
No, I agree with you. I agree. Relationships are difficult and there's always going to be chinks in the armor.
To that person, I feel like I don't know who this person is. What happened to the person I felt safe with? Because who they became, sometimes I did not feel safe. And it just hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. And I can't wrap my head around it. I can't believe it. I feel like red pill men stole my future husband from me because I really, really thought this was the person.
You know what example I want to give? There might have been women out there who were good women, decent, whatever. And then they start seeing all this stuff online about like city girls and hot girl summer and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, they've all become what they were not. And I knew now being this new kind of, I don't want to say acting out of line, but acting out of line person when they weren't originally that, but based on what they've been exposed to online.
But don't you think there would be a small desire for it? Like even an underlying desire that the influences would play to that. Because somebody that's sure of themselves, right? Let's say I've known girls in the past that would never do that city girls shit, right? Right, yeah, you, for example, you've never done that, but you wouldn't see these girls in Miami and think, that's what I want to be doing. I'm going to open OnlyFans. I'm going to go and get the bag from some guy. That's the life I'm going to lead. Now, we've consumed loads of their content and we've heard them speak a lot. And we even have friends that do, you know, ungodly things, let's say. You're not influenced to do them because it's just, that's not there. But if you were kind of like sick of your life, you're like, I need a way out. That's where the cracks start to show. And that's when the influence starts to work. It's like with, when you, maybe all your life you're not religious, but then you're really down on your luck and you don't know where else to look. And you're like, well, I don't know what else to do. Like, nothing's working. You turn to God, right? So a lot of people, when they're in a tight situation, even if they're not religious, they start to pray because they don't know what else to do. That's where the cracks show. And that's where a religious person can come in and be like, oh, let me show you this. You're more willing to listen now because there's your idea of how your life was going to be has been shaken and there's cracks, and that's where the influence works. You can't influence a guy like David Goggins to go to McDonald's and eat everything on the menu. His mind is so rock solid in what he believes that he's going to be like, fuck you, what are you talking about? But you can influence somebody that doesn't take their fitness properly. You can influence them to go to McDonald's and buy everything because they don't care as much.
Yeah, you can easily influence me to go to McDonald's.
Yeah, but you can't, like, if there's nothing that you could say to me right now to say, let's get some donuts. There's not a thing. There's nothing you could say.
Nothing.
Not a thing. There's nothing that you could say.
But you ate chocolate when you came in here.
Yeah, I had those little chocolate.
Still chocolate.
Yeah, those little chocolate fingers.
So
like
what about?
Hey, hold on. Those little chocolates, they were like three or four fingers in a little packet versus a whole donut.
I'd like to ask you a question.
You may.
So if you came into my house today, set the scene exactly how it happened today, and instead of chocolates in the fridge, I had a box of Krispy Kreme donuts.
No.
And I took one out to eat one.
No.
You're telling me you wouldn't have wanted one?
No. There might be a day where I come in, I'm like, I want a donut today. But today I was on the cross trainer for a long time. When you're on the cross trainer for that long, you don't want to just go and eat shit.
What if I said to you, Michael, if you come to Krispy Kreme's and have a donut, they're giving you a free trip to Japan. You're not going to go and eat a donut.
Oh, that's some unrealistic.
There we go. There is something I can say that will make you eat a donut.
That's not something you could say. That's something you have to do.
No, but you just said there's nothing anyone can say to me right now that would make me eat a donut.
No,
and I said to you nothing.
I said nothing you could say.
And if I said to you, I will buy your ticket to Japan if you eat a donut, are you going to say no?
Yeah, well, obviously I'll eat it then.
Anyway, continue with your original point.
All right, let me rephrase it, okay, since you want to be childish. Within the realms of reality, okay, because you ain't paying for no trip to Japan. There's nothing in this moment that you can offer me that would get me to eat a donut.
But if I said that, you would do it.
Yeah, okay. If you said to me, Mike, I can send you to Narnia, I'd say, okay, cool.
So there is something people
but
can say.
But you can't do that.
But I can buy a ticket to Japan. That is something I can do. Yes, I can't do Narnia because it's not real. But a ticket to Japan, I can go right now on
Sabi, would you buy the
Skyscanner
ticket?
or whatever.
Would
no,
you?
but it's capable. It's in the realms for me to do so.
You know,
it's not
sometimes-
impossible. It's not like me saying I will magic this phone to disappear. I'm saying I can pay for a ticket for you to go Japan.
Sometimes I want to take your little head and slam it into this mic.
And
Right into
sometimes
this mic.
I want to do the same to you.
Go on, do it.
No, I would love to.
Would you?
In my head, I can see it happening right now, but I
Wait.
would never do
And
it.
you got the strength to?
What? Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Go on, try it.
No, what?
Try it. We'll put it behind a paywall. Now, let me just say
You can't
this.
play that because of the music.
No, I'm not going to play it, but they can read the lyrics. Let me just say this. I just know every self-sabotaging person eats this song up after ruining everything once again. That was posted just after the video she posted about the breakup. Now, I'm gonna make a couple assumptions here. I know that's wrong of me, but I think a girl that is sitting on TikTok miming some depressing song about self-sabotage is probably somebody that causes problems in their relationships. To me, that's a childish, weird thing to do. I don't know why people do that. It's one of the most cringe things I see people doing. Miming lyrics to a song. They can barely mime them properly, and they've always got some dumbass caption, and you're talking about self-sabotage. Now, I'm not saying that she ruined her relationship, but I am saying that her story doesn't add up to me.
The way I look at it is she's probably hurt and she's going through the motions right now. And sometimes love makes you do some crazy shit. And I think that she's just
There's nothing
hurt,
crazy about
and
that.
this is her way of dealing with it. No, because personally, I would never post a video of myself online, exposing my hurt like that, or people record themselves crying and stuff. That's not me, but that's maybe how other people deal with their situations, and that's why I say it makes you act out of line or do some crazy shit. And maybe her way of doing that is posting how depressed she is online. Maybe she's trying to do it as indirect to him. She wants him to see it. Maybe she wants him to see that she's sad. Maybe she's doing it for clout, for clicks, because people online love depressing shit these days. Or maybe she saw how much interaction she got from the first video that she's playing on it now, boosting her numbers. It could be anything. I wouldn't look at it the way you're looking at it.
This is what I can only make assumptions about that, but this is what I'd say to women that are scared of losing their boyfriends to the red pill. That if you're scared of losing your boyfriend to the red pill, like genuinely scared, you might need to look in the mirror. Because I think that guys that succumb to the red pill, the more extreme ends of it, well, you've heard what they say, there's got to be cracks in your relationship. I can't see a happy man that feels like he's heard and listened to, and his ideas and his thoughts and his feelings are taken on board, and he's not trampled all over, is going to turn to the red pill. I just cannot see that happening. I can see that happening for guys that feel like women disrespect them. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there, and I'm not talking to the people that are not in relationships. I'm not talking to the people that have already been hard done by women. I'm talking specifically about guys in happy relationships, because there's plenty of guys out there that can't get laid, call them incels, whatever you want, that turn to the red pill because it feels like a community and a home to them, right? And I'm not talking about those guys. Those guys are lost. Hopefully they find their way. I'm talking about guys that are actually happy. I'll give you an example, right? I was with somebody, and I don't think I was being the best boyfriend that I could be. I don't think I was listening enough. And guess what? These fucking women came along and started talking all this mumbo jumbo, and she started to listen. And I can get angry at those women for coming along chatting shit in her ear, or I could be like, do you know what? She wouldn't have listened if she was happy. So I think people should take responsibility. I think she should probably, even though I don't know their situation, her saying that it came out of nowhere is BS. That's like me saying that my situation came out of nowhere. It didn't come out of nowhere. There's always cracks, and in that moment, you might not be able to realize what those cracks are, but you should be able to look back on it and be like, do you know what? Maybe he wouldn't have listened to that if I had done this. You can't just blame the entire red pill movement, and for that same token, you can't blame feminism and the LGBT stuff and all that without doing some reflecting and being like, did I push this person down that road, or did I not listen enough, or was I a good enough partner? Now, sometimes you are, but I think a lot of the time people don't take responsibility for their behavior. Taking responsibility for your behavior is I don't want to sound like I'm tooting my own horn, but it's a mature thing that you learn through experience.
Absolutely.
It's a bitter pill. Trust me, it's a bitter pill for me to swallow, to be like, I did that. That was my fault. Even if it's not a bad thing, even if it's not the worst thing in the world, in your relationship, it might be a bad thing to that person, and you're just not listening because you're caught up in the moment. And it's fine to be caught up in the moment of something. Sometimes we can't see our own BS, but you should be able to sit back, maybe months removed from it, and being like, I did that. I wasn't good enough in that situation, or I wasn't paying attention to this, that, and the other. Doesn't make you a bad person. Shit happens, people's personalities clash. But her sob story of it came out of nowhere. I'm just not buying that.
I've said everything I had to say. I mean, I don't look at it as harshly as you do. I wouldn't look at her and be like, she's completely lying.
I didn't say she's completely lying.
You're saying it's BS, but I think I'm a bit more open-minded to it.
I think she's deluded. I don't think she's like a
See,
liar.
I disagree though.
I think that with, like I said, in a situation where if you were in a happy relationship with a guy,
I get it. I get your point.
yeah, and then suddenly he just changed, you'd be like, no, this doesn't just happen.
But it does. It does though. Like, for example, there's men out here who are cheaters, right? But I'm not gonna say it's a specific relationship problem, because there's some men that will cheat on every woman that they get with because they've genuinely just got an issue, if that makes sense. If I'm going to use myself, my ex, you know that he cheated on me, yeah? And I'm not going to sit here and say there was problems in the relationship, because there actually wasn't. And he cheated on me. However, I could have looked at things and pondered and dwelled and gone, maybe it was this, maybe it was that. But he cheated on the girl he was with before me. He cheated on the one before her. He cheated on the one he got with after me. And he cheated again on the other one that he got with after her. So it's been a consistent cycle. So clearly the guy's it's just in his DNA or blood to be a cheat.
I'm assuming you didn't know that he was cheating like on other girls.
The girl he got with before me, I did know that he cheated on her, yeah. But I don't know, it's if every woman just thinks maybe I might be different, or he was a lot younger then he's a lot older now, maybe he's changed.
Isn't that?
But we were together for 3 years before he cheated on me.
But isn't that something to be like, okay, yeah, I kind of fucked up. He cheated already.
Yes. To some extent, but it's not. I don't believe in once a cheat, always a cheat.
No, I don't believe that either.
Yeah.
But I think once a cheat, exercise some caution.
But I get that. But I think you're steering away from my overarching point,
which is,
you've made me lose it. Let's go back. Let's rewind a little bit. What did you say, and what was I coming out with?
I was just asking where the responsibility was. You already knew he was a cheater.
No, because you were talking about this girl and there being a problem. And you were saying things don't just change. But my example was men who cheat, randomly they've just changed in terms of, I had the momentum and I've lost it. But sometimes people's feelings and emotions do just change. And people do just act out of line when there might not always be an issue. Sometimes they might cheat because there's an issue, but sometimes they might not cheat because there's an issue. They just cheat because they want to cheat. Does that make sense?
I hear what you're saying. I don't know if I agree, but I don't know. I guess
I don't think I've explained it as well as it made sense in my head.
Well, I guess it's a case by case basis. I understand that people can do out of pocket things where you're just like, what the fuck was that about? But I don't think. This might sound silly to say, but I don't think thinking like that helps me. I just always try to be like, what could I have done here? What could I have done here? Or why did I not see the red flags beforehand? For example, in your situation, you already cheated. I don't believe that once a cheater, always a cheater, but he already cheated. So that for me, if I got with a girl that had been known to cheat on her ex, she may not cheat on me for 4 years, but she already cheated. So there's the red flag was already there. And for my next relationship, if I meet another girl that had cheated on her ex, I'd know, do you know what? Maybe she won't cheat on me, but I've already dealt with this BS. I'm not going to deal with that again. If I then date her and it happens again, I have to take some responsibility for that.
I get it. Oh, damn it. You've made me lose what I was going to say again.
No. Stop saying
no,
you
no,
made me.
No, because I was about to say something. Then you just, you said something that spiraled my thought pattern, and then I started thinking of something else.
Look at that. No responsibility.
No, I agree with you. It's like, okay, for example, I called you up the other day. I was like, Michael, give me your honest opinion. You know, what can I change? Things like that. Because that's me trying to reflect and think, maybe, what am I doing wrong here? What can I change? Let me see what could potentially be the problem here. Trying to understand it, okay? But often in life, which I think this is a bad trait that I have, is anything that happens or goes wrong ever, I'm always blaming myself. And sometimes it's just genuinely not your fault. I can't always be the problem each and every single time.
Depends on how you're blaming yourself.
Just any little thing, I'm always blaming myself.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't blame yourself if you were driving down the road and somebody else got hit by a bike, right? It's not your fault.
No, I'm talking about personal situations.
Yeah, if there's a situation, I think I blame myself all the time.
But I don't think it's healthy to do that.
I think it's very healthy. It's helped me in so many situations. It helps me sleep with the fact that I could have done something better, so that now when the next day that I wake up, if I encounter that situation again, I'll know how to deal with it better.
But can I say something? Sometimes you might be sitting there blaming yourself when genuinely you're not at fault.
But who's to say? Who decides
Let's
that?
look at it as it was a fact. You wasn't in the wrong, but you've blamed yourself.
But I know you're saying let's look at it as a fact, but who's saying it's a fact?
Okay, for example, if you was driving and this person got hit by the bike, the whatever, factually that's not your fault.
Okay, I'll give you an example. You called me the other night and you asked me to be brutally honest. Now, in my mind, I was like, seems like a bad idea. But, and I wasn't brutally honest. But
it felt brutal. I think you went in.
I didn't go in.
I think, if there's more you've got to say, then that's bad, because that to me felt bad enough.
It's not that I have more to say, and it's not that I brutally ripped her either.
He did.
I didn't.
Anyway, you did.
I was just assessing your character.
Okay.
But the way I would have said what I said to you, to a guy, would have been completely different. I watched how I said it because I know you. I know you're sensitive. So I gave you the truth, but I gave it to you with like a pillow landing. If that was one of my boys that called me and they said, Mike, be honest, can you give me a character assessment? What can I do better? They would have landed on a better spike.
So does that mean that you think a bit more negatively of me, but you didn't want to say it?
Because like my sister-in-law is like that as well. We disagree on everything politically, right? She's the complete opposite to me. I've never, ever gone in on her, ever, because I know what she's like. I know it will upset her and it might ruin her day. I will get my point across, but I will never go in on her because I understand that speaking to her that way is not going to serve me. She's just going to lose her temper. So if I'd spoken to you the way I speak to my boys and you got upset at me, I have to take some responsibility, because although you called me and you asked me for the honest truth, I still have to look at you.
Well, you still upset me anyway.
Yeah, I understood it was going to upset.
But I asked for it, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah, that's your responsibility.
Yeah.
But my responsibility is that because you're my friend and I don't want to upset you, I tried to be as gentle with that as possible. I know it might not have seemed like that, but like I said, this entire time we've been doing this channel, any disagreement we've had, out there, I've never, ever gone in on you. And I probably never will, because you're like my friend Jamie, for example. If me and Jamie have never really disagreed. We have stupid banter back and forth, but I know he's the kind of guy where you could literally throw daggers at him and they'll bounce off his chest, right? He's one of those guys. So our banter is very savage. And to someone reading it, they're like, wow, these guys fucking hate each other, right? He's saying obscene things about me. I went in on him yesterday, but it was all in good fun. I would never insult you the way I insult him, even as a joke, because I know you'll never speak to me again. So you got to watch how you speak to people, and you have to take responsibility. If you build friendships, I'll give you a perfect example of this. I was with Anajan and Nate the other day. Those are two of my best friends, and Fraser. Nate and Fraser were on video call. Anajan was sitting behind me. We were booking our flights to Japan. Now, Fraser, not so much, but me and Nate have an understanding with our humor, right? Nate's humor is quite dark as well. Someone did something to me on the phone, and I screamed something that was obviously in jest, but it would have been perceived as racist to people that don't know me, right? Because everyone here knows I enjoy racist humor, makes me laugh, right? I love Dave Chappelle's and Chris Rock's racist humor. But Anajan was sitting behind me, and he got very, very upset about it. And not crying upset, obviously, he's a grown man, but he didn't like it. And I stopped, because even though I found it funny and Nate was laughing and we were both like trying to, when you're trying to not laugh like a bunch of school kids because he's sitting right behind me, but I couldn't help myself. I understood that he doesn't find that kind of humor funny, especially because it was about his people. So I stopped. I was like, I'm not gonna go in again. That's my responsibility as his friend, to not go down that road. Now,
of course,
I could also say this is what I find funny. Being aware of your
surroundings.
Yeah, like read the room. I didn't do it because I was scared of his reaction, although it made me jump because he went, hey. I was like, well, it's not because I was scared of him or scared of what he might do. He's my friend. I understand not everybody finds the things I find funny. That's why I don't post everything that is sent to me on my stories, because I know that I'll be banned on Instagram. And the things that I post on my story are really bad enough. But you have to take some responsibility for your behavior. That's what I'm saying. So everything that comes out of your mouth, If they react a certain way, you can say, I don't give a shit. And you don't have to give a shit. But if you care about that person, I think that you should temper the way you speak. That's also why we watch what we say on YouTube, because we'll get demonetized, right? Mm-hmm. I also watch what I say to people in the comment section, because sometimes people say some shit that I'm like, are you serious? And if it was like one of my friends, I'd open up my phone and be like, you fucking blah, blah, blah. But I'm not going to speak to a stranger like that, because one, it's disrespectful to just disrespect some randomer, even if you don't agree with them. And two, I mean, they're strangers on the internet, but they could very easily find out where I live and be like, you know, fuck this guy. Pap, pap, pap. That's my fault. I did that. So that's the way I look at life. Yeah? Mm-hmm. We cool?
Cool story, bro.
Yeah,
do you have anything else you want to add?
No.
Oh, please, Lord, no.
No, I think I'm done. I rambled enough.
Yeah, you did.
That's not what you think in the comment section.